Hey Lana, it's good to see you.
Hi, it's so good to see you too.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to have this conversation with me. And I'm delighted to introduce you to our audience, not just because of the work you're doing and your insights and all that, but just also because of your presence and just how one of a person you are. And I think people will recognize that from this conversation fairly
Wow.
quickly.
Thank
Um,
you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
For sure. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to start with a few words about the work that we're doing and how I think that intersects with some of your stuff and why I thought you'd be a good person to chat with.
Absolutely.
So I'm part of a team of Harvard-trained researchers working for Universal Enlightenment and Flourishing, which is a nonprofit organization. It's been around nearly a decade, and the mission is to work toward better understanding of what human flourishing is, and
Mm,
not just in an academic Harvard-y sense, but in a practical way of what
yeah.
people need in their day-to-day lives to flourish. And so that's why we're doing these conversations. And in a nutshell, what we've come up with through a combination of research and lived experience is what we call the love, learn, play mindset, um,
Ooh,
LLP for short. Um,
I love it.
Me too. Awesome. It's a simple, sort of designed to be universally compatible with everybody formula for human flourishing. Maybe deceptively simple, Um, but it's based on the insight that these three things, loving, learning, and playing, are our three natural core longings, starting
Mhm.
from birth, right? And it's easy for children to do these things. They do them kind of automatically, and I think it becomes harder for us as we grow, partly just because of being socialized.
Mhm.
We inherit all sorts of false narratives about things like success and wealth and other more artificial metrics for what our ultimate goals in life should be.
Right.
Um, and I've invited you into this conversation because I know a bit about how important loving, learning, and playing have been for you in your journey
Yeah.
toward flourishing.
Hmm.
I also feel like you have a very unique perspective on something that many people might view as an emerging threat to LLP, which is artificial intelligence.
Okay, I like this.
But contrary to those fears, right, I think you're someone who exemplifies how AI actually can help us flourish
Mm. Yes.
if we
Yeah.
approach it with the right intentions, which I think is the key. And I think you'd agree with that.
Hmm.
So you're an artist, a visionary, an alchemist, as
Oh,
you like to call yourself.
a
Um,
visionary. Wow, thank you.
and you make music using AI under the
I
name
do.
Lana Jade,
Yes, I do.
which I'm so used to calling you that. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself with your actual full name, or we can
Nope.
just stick to your stage name.
Well, so it's interesting, right? Because the stage name is actually an electronic persona more so than anything else.
Yeah,
Uh, Indicated by the lowercase letters, it's kind of like a handle more than anything else. But like the name with the handle is Lana Jade. So people call me Lana Jade or LJ or Lana. All those are appropriate.
sweet. Okay. Um, so first question. You were one of the first people I met who I felt like was using AI for something other than writing emails or making kind of funny images, and in a way that was very eye-opening to me, where I kind of felt like I was like seeing into the future a little bit.
Mm,
And I'm
hmm.
sure other people were doing creative things with AI, but it just wasn't really in my world of awareness. And this is going back like a year, so
Hmm.
AI has obviously changed since then, but I'm wondering how you came up with the idea in the first place of using AI to make music, and if you can also just tell us a little bit about what the process actually looks like.
Absolutely. Okay, so the origin story of the AI music experience actually happened because I was banned from TikTok Live for my shirt. I was wearing an inappropriate shirt according to TikTok standards. And so I had been going live during my workday over and over again, and I had to go on another platform. So I went on Twitch. Okay. I had like two people in the chat, and a random person comes in and says they're making music with AI on this app called Suno.
Hmm.
And genuinely, my honest response was like, that's not music, that's fake.
I
I
think
was like,
that's a
I'm
lot of our initial responses.
right. Right, because I'm a singer, right? I have taken like singing lessons, I've done choir, I've done all of these very formalized things. I know what music is, and
Hmm.
clicking some buttons on the computer, honey, that's not music, okay? And then I was like, but I was intrigued, okay? So I
Yeah.
did get the app on my phone, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna make AI music in my like uppity way, I'm like, I'm gonna use my voice, right? Because then it's me. It's not just AI, it's me and AI. And now we're collaborators, now we're friends, right? Well, I use the term friends very loosely. Let's not go into that territory because that's a whole other can of worms. So it's a collaborator, right? So I started uploading my voice memos and I'd be like walking my dog and I'd be just like humming a little beat. And
Hmm.
then I would insert it and I was like, oh, at this point, I didn't even type anything in. I didn't even know what the app was. I was just like, let's see what happens. And that's part of the fun curiosity of it. I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what AI music was. And I still kind of don't. I feel like it changes all the time and everybody uses it differently, right?
Hmm.
So that's how I stumbled in it. And then I started realizing that there were more and more customizations that I could, dare I say, control. I hesitate to use the word control because it doesn't feel like that when it's happening, but it's intention, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how my process started to build. But it honestly, I started making music out of need. Like I had a desire and a need to
Hmm.
express myself that was not possible to come out in any other medium, right? I'm working my 9 to 5. I am very stressed. I'm living a stressful life. I have big dreams, but I'm not anywhere near my big dreams. So I'm like, oh, how do I cope? How do I pass the time? And so I'm on TikTok Live, making friends, making community. And then, I take the suggestions from the chat, I think, at the end of the day, and it ended up being quite fruitful. So that's kind of how everything began. I don't know if you want to pause me there and
That's
direct
very,
me in a certain
that's very,
direction before we spin off.
that's very polite of you. You're such a polite guest. I'm so fortunate. Um,
Oh, thank
but
you.
I actually relate to a lot of that just for my own creative writing practice. Like the first part of what you said about having little snippets where sometimes I just need inspiration. I don't need someone to write for me, but I just kind of need things mirrored back to me. And sometimes
Mhm.
I don't have the whole picture. So sometimes it is just kind of snippets of like there was this interesting bit of conversation I heard, or like I have this like weird image in my head from a dream that I had. And like, how
Mhm.
can I piece all these things together into like an idea that I can build a story around?
Yes,
But I
yeah.
also relate to what you said about just kind of needing something that feels creative and fulfilling and like worth doing for its own sake,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
which I think is maybe like a better way to define play than just like skipping around and like
Whee!
playing tag, right?
Right, right, right.
Um, but yeah, so I just to give everyone like a full context, like this has not been a casual thing for you. You've gone hard at this, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
I locked in.
I listened to a lot of it at the beginning and then I kind of like fell off and
Yeah, it's a big
and
cliff.
then
It's a big cliff.
I discovered the other day that you're now up to like 700 songs or more
Yeah.
across like 50 albums. And
It's
this was in the span of like a year and a half or something. So
hmm
it's a quite a body of work and something that was happening pretty quick.
yes.
But it's been like a long journey, and so I'm just curious from where you stand today, looking back on all that. What were your well, what's funny about that?
I guess like it's kind of crazy, the whole thing, because it's
Yeah,
like I got on a roller coaster and I did not like sign up for that. Like
right.
that's really how, and I'm scared of roller coasters. Okay, so for me, I wanted this experience to I didn't okay, this is the thing. I didn't want it to be anything. When I went
Mhm.
into it, like I said, I stumbled into it. So I didn't ever imagine that I would be sitting here talking to you like this. No doubt, like no. I there's no way because I had no idea it would become what it became. Okay. So, way back in the day, it's 2024, September. I get this message, I get the app, and I start playing around. So, there's like the first 3 months, I drop like 3 albums, like one a month. And this is like tends to be like my flow. I'm like, okay, I'm moving through emotions. I'm having mirror me conversations with my chat GPT where I ask it to reflect back to me in full what I'm moving through so I can see myself clearly and I can finally look in a mirror that is me and a little bit distorted, but it's me, okay? Better than anything else I've got at the time, right? Resource scarce over here. And I use this and I use this pathway and I start realizing like, oh, this is real alchemy. This is real alchemy happening. And I was also working with an alchemy coach at this time.
Hmm.
So it all kind of came together. And I remember I created a song for myself called River Run, which was about making peace with the fact that I had a lot of credit card debt. Okay, like that was really it. It was like, I don't want to hate myself for having credit card debt. This is something I need to deal with. And so I was like, one of the things about money, for example, is that like you don't want to hoard it, you want to circulate it. And my experience and opinions on that. And so I was like, okay, I need to start thinking about money as something that flows, right? So I'm like, "Ah, a
Hmm.
river, right?" And then I started talking about it that way. And now there's programmed lyrics that have an intention so I can come back to it, right? So these songs serve as portals into the past, right? Like the ability for me to listen and open up into that world of my past self. And at the time, I was thinking about my future self. So it's a triangulation of time space, really. It's quite cool. And it's something that I think acoustic information or waveform information, for example, is so good at. Like it's so rich, the data that you can get in there, and so using it as more of an engineering, like a design, it's like art, but it's science. And there's some like it's also a black box approach. Like there's some things I don't understand. Like a lot of the things that I'm creating are based on my alchemical feelings, the arc that I create within my body that I want to move through this music. And then I try to program that with ChatGPT and with Suno as best as I can to match the intention and the sonic environment that I want to sit in. This is music for me, Like I was sick of listening to music about like beer and girls and all this stuff. I was just like, I need something for me that can hold me, that I want to listen to. And that's how I see it now. It's like an energetic scaffolding. It's a timeline. It's a journey. It's a frequency codex. It's an oracle. It's whatever you want it to be, right? Because I know who I was when I created it. And I always had the collective in mind. I was always thinking, like, I want to be the person that releases music that no matter who you are, if you listen to it, you will be uplifted. Like, even if you go through something serious, even if it's like a really gross kind of feeling at the end of it, there's resolve, or in the album, there's resolve. And that was important for me because I felt like that was missing, honestly, in the music
Hmm.
industry. I was like, if I had billions of dollars, what would I be doing? What would I be doing? And I said, I'm going to play pretend. I'm going to play pretend. I'm going to play pop star. I'm going to listen to my songs and I'm just going to become that girl. And I'm going to try that. And it's going really well so far. And like, I didn't realize it would go this well.
Yeah, I love that, and it's, I mean, extremely evident to me that that is the case. You're like very in touch with um, your intentions in going through life these days, and just kind of like what we would call living consciously.
Yes, yes.
Um, and your songs are like really playful and upbeat. But I think they do come from a place of um, being that way by choice, right? And like what you had to overcome to get there. And so I think that's why, like you were saying, people can kind of relate to this as no matter what they're going through, there's
Mhm.
there's a light to work towards, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and so I wanted to talk about the music itself, just so
Mhm.
that we're not like in abstract land here, and people can
Yes. Excellent. I
we
love an
can we can
anchor.
talk about like a song or two, right? And so I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
couple of my favorites, and then if you have a favorite, we can talk about that as well,
Sure.
or
Sure.
even if it's just like a favorite album.
Hmm.
Um, but just in light of a couple of the things you brought up, and just moving towards this conversation of um, when you're waking up to a more conscious life, what are you waking up from, right? Um,
Mm.
and so I mentioned earlier these false narratives that we, exist under oftentimes without even knowing because they're kind of just like the water that we're swimming in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so anyway, the song I wanted to start with was Alchemy of Stupid.
Yeah,
And partly it's because, you keep saying this word alchemy, and I think like I really want to hear what that means to you.
yeah.
It's also just a banger of a song. It's one of my favorite songs in your collection.
Thank you.
And so I think, I want to hear more about this song. And
Yeah.
feel free to break into song and dance and do a little
Aw.
like rendition if you have a favorite line or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let it come through if it's meant. So, thank you. I love this song too. And what vision just came in my mind when you asked this is And who knows, I may get emotional because that's what this music is. It's a portal, right? So when I talk about it or feel it or sing it, I feel the imprint of the girl I was when I created it. And so this song was on a breakup album of mine, and the whole album was an arc to get me from in the relationship to out of the relationship in the most fun, most playful, most mutually beneficial way. So that was what I encoded it with. I wanted to have love be like, dare I say, my beacon, right? So I create this song because I needed a song on the album that helped me, right? Just like with the credit card debt thing, that helped me move through something that I felt like I did was stupid, right? I was like, oh,
Mm.
this is so stupid. I'm so mad at myself for doing this. Like, I should have known better, those types of thoughts, right? And I'm like, girl, you couldn't have known. You couldn't have known, right? So I'm like, how, like these two parts of me, I need to integrate them. Okay. So that's what alchemy is for me. It's a way to integrate the person I am with the person I am becoming and the person I want to be and the person I always have been, one could say. So it's a lot of integration, a lot of layers, a lot of patterning happening. So when I listened, so the whole process, I moved through that experience. I created the song with that intention, structured the lyrics from my own emotional shares. And the way that I felt when I listened to, so then there's also a discernment, an audio discernment, because Suno creates two tracks for every song. So even if you only hit generate
Oh,
once,
really?
yes. So even if you
Interesting.
only, it's like the binary code thing, right?
Uh,
So if you only create the song once, you get two versions. And so I started being like getting choosy with it, but also not being wasteful, right? We gotta, because it's not like I just want to hit like generate, 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 and then listen to all of them because sometimes I might want to tweak things, right? So I just was very intentional. You listen, I listen, and I'm like, yes or no, yes. And I can feel it in my body. Like I feel
Mhm.
it. I start moving to it, I start singing, and I'm like, oh, I already know it. Okay, we know it. And I remember I was listening to I do like a run through of my albums when I want to move through the arc to make sure it hits. So
Mhm.
I did the first run through of it and I'm moving it in my body. And I remember I'm sitting on my yoga mat. And this song is not like necessarily sad sounding. It's actually quite upbeat, right? But the meaning is so deep. And I did that intentionally. I was like, I want something that feels upbeat and happy while I'm moving through this horrible thing, right? That is how the song becomes the alchemy. The song is the mutation, the transmutation that occurs in me because as I learn the song, as I dance the song, as I sing the song, as I experience the song in myself through the song, I get every single layer that comes through, right? And that's the collapsing that the alchemy allows. It's like taking something and I don't know what the actual definition of alchemy is. I think that's probably would be helpful, but I think it has like it's like I don't know, gold can be alchemized, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think the classic
I think
example
of
is like,
metal.
yeah, yeah, turning like some worthless metal into gold.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yes. Yeah, because that's genuinely like what Suno AI, right, is doing is it's taking large data sets, which of course has its own ethical interpretations for the music industry. Da, 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 da. However, it's noise. Like it is created from soundbite data. Like it's basically like mining for gold. And the way I'm mining is with my like prompt pickaxe, you know? Like so in a way, and then I, smelt. I don't know what you do with gold. And then and then it becomes something completely different in the shape that I am creating. It is my shape, right? And then as I outgrow them, like I did with Alchemy of Stupid, for example, like great bop, right? But it doesn't really feel that way to me anymore.
Mm.
So now what I've been doing is creating remixes. So I just recently created today Alchemy of Stupid Revival, right? So it's a more, and also the algorithm gets better. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, so then it's like then that song represents who I am now. And again, the arc continues. It's more like leapfrog, leapfrog with yourself. Hello, fun, playful, exciting. And like then all those horrible emotions that were going, like everybody goes through breakups. It's horrible. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to sit in that. So I was like, let's use this song as a vehicle. Let's get out. But not without bypassing, you know?
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I think it's so mature of you, powerful that you kind of had that moment where you were like beating yourself up and then kind of realized that that itself was stupid, right? But
Yeah.
it's a hard realization to come to. I mean, I think it took me a while to realize that myself.
Yeah.
And
You have to
you
really
know,
love yourself.
exactly. So that's where I was going next with this. Like, I think this is kind of a testament to self-love, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and also understanding like that moment where you think like I should have known better, like why didn't I, right? Is
Hmm.
I think like the important part there is like, well, now I do, right? Like the
Yeah.
fact that I have those thoughts means that I did figure out something important. Like I learned something about myself. I learned something about this other person.
Yes.
Like let's not wallow in regret or whatever. Like let's integrate that lesson, like you were saying,
Yes.
integrate the
Yes.
lesson, right? And like inject a little bit of self-love and like
Hmm.
alchemize it into something more
Yeah.
positive, more meaningful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Um,
I'm looking at the words love, learn, play as you speak, right? And I'm thinking about the introduction you gave. And that's literally the essence of that moment for me, right? It's like I was enacting such a level of reverence for myself that I had never experienced. Like I created a way to show myself I care, to show myself I'm investing time. Like the reason why there's so much music is because I invest in myself and my expression, right? Because I reduce the consumption outside of myself because I love myself so much. I want to do what's good for me. I know what's good for me. And of course, the people around me can as well. But that love for self, I decided, I made the choice that I am going to put that first because no matter who I'm in a relationship with, which is why this catalyst came about, but no
mhm.
matter who I'm in a relationship with, who I am around, what community I'm in, like loving myself will come first because it is what benefits everyone else, right? Because in that act of self-love, I created this song that now the collective can listen to if they want to, and they can experience it. And then I get to share this with you now. And it's like the elements of I'm a very learned person. I did a lot of school, right? And for me, learning was always quite structured and quite rigid. And for this like learning AI and learning Suno is like a little kid when you first get a toy and you don't read the instructions, you just take it out the box and you play with it and you figure it out, right? That's the joy of learning and play as one,
Mm.
the curiosity. And it's so amazing because I, like I said, stumbled into this whole thing and it's been the most fun and the most playful and the most loving I could have been with myself. And it creates a stronger relationship with myself that allows me to show up more for others. Like, who doesn't want that? Come on.
I while you were speaking and saying all that and even some of the stuff before, like I was still just kind of thinking about this alchemy image a bit more.
Hmm.
And I want to like dive a bit deeper into that
Sure.
metaphor because I think
I love a metaphor.
so do I. Maybe too much.
There's way too many metaphors in my music. Nothing is really as it seems in there.
But so I think when it comes to your music, right? Um, and the use of AI to make it and your, dot dot dot, is this ethical? What do people think about this thing?
Lots
Um,
of, it's a big can of worms for
yeah.
sure.
And we'll unpack that over time throughout the rest of this interview. But I
Sounds
think
good.
I think for the time being, like I think it is like an illustrative image. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like the music for you, I think, is not the gold, right?
Mm.
The music for you is like the process. It's like the alchemy itself is what the music is, right?
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and the gold, like the end result, it's something else.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like it's who you become, right? Like
Mm.
starting from like this one version of you to this other version of you that is flourishing, is living consciously.
Hmm.
And I think, maybe that's why I have this different feeling towards um, like your work than I would maybe towards like someone else that's making music with AI and being dishonest about it and then pushing out Spotify ads and trying to get people to like pay for it and download it or whatever. Like, right. There's
Yeah.
obviously value for others in the work that you've made, and I love a lot of your songs. But you use the word if, right? Like if people want to listen to it, like
Hmm.
this isn't that that's not the end goal for you, right? Like you're not. Like that's not the reason why you did this.
Yeah.
It's not the gold. It's not like the thing at the end there, right?
Right.
Um, and
Yeah.
so I kind of wanted to segue that into this concept that we talk about a lot um, in the work that we do called means ends inversion.
Mm.
Um, just basically like if you think about certain things that our society can maybe put a little bit too much weight on and value as the gold when really it should be like the alchemy, right?
Mm.
Like
Hmm.
money's kind of the prime example here, um, where it's very easy to kind of like get swept up in our you know, ladder climbing professional world
Yeah.
and think like money's the thing like to pursue. The more money I'm making, the more successful I am.
Hmm.
Um, and that's obviously not what flourishing is, right? And
Very much so. Yeah.
it doesn't mean that money is like evil or we should avoid it.
Right.
It's necessary. It's a tool. It's a means, right? It's a means
Yes.
and not an end. Um,
Hmm.
but when you confuse the two and kind of like pursue a means as an end, um,
That can get very twisted
it gets very twisted, and it's easy to then fall into that habit of being kind of under the shadow of false narratives that you kind of don't even know that you're in.
that you
Um,
become a puppet to in many ways.
yes, and so I wanted to talk about another one of my favorite songs, which is "Witch of Wall Street,"
Yeah.
which I think is quite apt for all of this because it is about redefining wealth, I think.
Yeah.
And I was gonna phrase this in terms of like what is this song about?
Hmm.
But I think maybe a better way to ask it is just like what's your interpretation of it? Because I know
Yeah.
this is not like, you know, like you said, you're co-creating this with AI, right? So it's not like you didn't have full control over what came out, right?
Correct.
You're interpreting this the same way as I am and as other people are, which
Hmm.
I think is an interesting part of this in its own right. But
Mm.
yes, anyway, so tell me about Witch of Wall Street.
Okay. So before I do, I will segue by saying the biggest point that you said, right? What
Mm,
is the gold? It's not if that's not I am the gold, right? The alchemy is golden, but I am the gold, right? The alchemy is of me. And without me, there would be no alchemy. Just like without me, there would be no music.
hmm.
Without AI, there could still be music,
Yeah.
but it would be slower for me to produce. It would
Hmm.
be different. It would be different, right? So, Witch of Wall Street is from an album that I created. It was called Architectrix of the Altered State. Altar spelt like worship altar. Okay. And I was like, this is my parallel universe where I manifest all my dreams and my desires. And the more I sing these songs, the more this truth comes to fruition for me. And I actually filmed a YouTube video of me like singing, not singing because I didn't know the songs yet, but dancing around to this album for the first time. Like this is the first time I did. I called it like album release party, right? And this is the first time I'd ever really conceptualized myself as like, oh, I think I'm doing something here. Like I think this is cool. Super vulnerable still though. And this particular song fits like closer to the end of the album, and they all the titles, the original titles that weren't codified, story for another time. All those titles had very intentional, like some were lowercase, some were uppercase, some were mixed, some had punctuation instead of, letters. Witch of Wall Street had an exclamation point in which, okay? And Wall Street was all caps because it's this idea of bringing something that's whimsy and playful and weird
Mm.
and like doesn't fit into this very rigid capital thing, you know? And so the lyrics go, Witch of Wall Street, sage in a heel, casting dividends like daffodils, right? It's like, it's so whimsy and unserious. And it's like, I've got crystals in my carry-on, boardrooms full of Babylon, like money whispers like when I speak, I make spreadsheets sound mystique. It allows you to feel like what it could be like in a womanly, wealthy world. It doesn't have to be woman, but feminine, right? That ability to just make it so playful because I hate Wall Street. Like the idea of it, right? Like I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. But like I don't resonate with the Wall Street ideology. Okay,
Mm.
let's say that. I don't feel like I belong there in any sense. So
Hmm.
for me, the only way to become present in such an environment was for me to create this fantasy world of me being a witch on Wall Street where I get to be a part of that culture, but in my own way. And one of the important beliefs and values of mine is wealth redistribution and anti-wealth hoarding, essentially. And much like the circulatory system of the body, when blood flow gets clogged, circulation stops and we die. So ultimately, in wealth, the same thing happens. It needs to circulate. That was one of the themes of the song is like it's circulation. And the idea that I had for what types of economies and what types of communities we could create with this ideology, that excited me. And it got me excited to create that song. And it's so playful and unserious that like I accidentally made friends with that type of lifestyle and started seeing a vision for what would be possible if money and wealth were given to people who really wanted to spread love and light and joy and
Mm.
play and clarity, right? Versus these false narratives and that we're all puppeteered by, that many of the leaders in the world are also puppeteered by, right? So it's like nobody's immune. We've all been there, right? And how do we circulate not just wealth, but also information and resources and love and light and play and all of that? How does that move? And so for me, creating music and doing it in at the rate that I do and with the intention that I do is so that way my signal and the things that I want to share get out there, for people to share and play with and learn.
Yeah, I think like this witch on Wall Street thing is like such a like all the images that you conjured up there. I think
Mhm.
it's such a great sort of visual manifestation of love, learn, play, and not just love, learn, play, but specifically the way we talk about it as a mindset, like the
Yeah.
LLP mindset. Because the idea is like when you're a kid, yeah, it's like it's easy to love, learn, and play, right? Like
Hmm.
everybody's like goo goo and gagaing over you, and you've got all your toys, and like
Yep. You're set up.
everything you discover is new, like you're learning by accident, right?
Yep,
It's
yep.
very easy, and then when you become an adult, it's harder.
Hmm.
And so
Yep.
I think the aspirational goal here is have this mindset where you can love, learn, and play in any environment.
Yeah.
And how cool to think like even someone who feels totally out of place on Wall Street, like maybe even there's a place for you to bring like your LLP mindset into an environment or an activity that would otherwise make you feel like icky or
Oh
uncomfortable
yeah.
or not yourself,
Absolutely.
right? It's like it's part of it's about holding on to yourself, and I think in the process understanding that flourishing is this thing that comes from within.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not dependent on like what environment you're in
Yeah.
or who you are as a person or anything like that.
Yeah, when I think of flourishing, especially being in the environment that I am now, there's so many amazing birds and just like, oh, I love how lush the greenery is. And that's what I think of when I think of flourishing. I think of a garden and I think of a flourishing garden. I think about the diversity of the space, the colors, like the heights. Like there's so much to see, but also how you feel when you're in a garden, how it sounds, right? There's so many, and being at peace is one of these crucial parts. And for me, that's what my music has allowed me to do. Not only am I playing pretend and being able to dance around my house and get a really good workout in by playing pop star, like I'm on my trampoline, right? I'm doing all these things that my inner child is just jumping quite literally for joy, right? But then it's also I'm learning this new skill. I'm learning how to use AI. Like staying up to it because the algorithm changes so fast. So
Yeah.
it's something that I am finally happy to have something that keeps up with me in a way, because I feel like I move quite quickly and the systems and the structures I've been in historically have not. So I
Mhm.
finally feel like, ooh, a tool, a companion that can like run alongside me for the marathon, and like no human should need to do that because I'm one of one, right? As we said, which by the way, thank you, right? So when I think of flourishing, it's this cocktail almost, right? LLP, which I love. It sounds like LLC. So it's like, yeah, we're incorporating ourselves as love, learn, play. Yes. Like when you come at it, when you're also learning, right? That's also part of my music. And then I'm also including that self-love piece for self and collective. That layered cake is like the perfect thing that allows me to have momentum to move forward, right? So when you're in a garden and the garden is flourishing, it is reaching towards the sun and it is like getting enough water and nutrients, right? And sunlight. And so when you are actually like I feel like I've had to create an artificial sun for myself. I had to create this art of, like we are so resource scarce on the ground out here, the 99%, right? There is so much stuff going on in the world that we often can't deal with because we are drowning, right? So this has been like my life raft. And as I said at the beginning, like I didn't start doing this because I just wanted to. I did it because I needed to. And I can't even imagine like one of the albums playing was an album that I'm reviving actually because of our conversation and the inspiration I had.
Oh,
Yeah, making it a little more like boppy. I don't know. So, but playing was the first time like I had to give myself permission to do it. I
mm.
had to give myself permission to do it. Like that idea of like when you're old is awkward and weird because it's like if I told people at the time that I was playing pretend pop star in my basement, like if I told my coworkers that, they're gonna be like, okay, like what'd you guys do this weekend? I was like, I spent 2 hours dancing around my room to my own music that I made to pretend I'm a pop star. Isn't that fun? Like I've been looked at crazy before and I don't want to do it again. So this is my proof of concept to show almost that play is so healing, not just to alchemize. Like working with my alchemist coach, it was about not making everything so serious because I was only making music to like process my trauma at first, right?
Mm.
And then I was like, wait, I can have fun with this too. It can be both. And that switch allowed for the rest to flow.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you this, like concocted, written out question about about like, kind of the ethics of AI
Mm,
music creation
I could
and
I
like
could talk about that.
fears around that stuff. Yeah, I know you could. I know you don't need me to tee up a question for you to talk about this, but
Yeah.
it occurs to me now that I think maybe the place that I want to go with this
Hmm.
is to ask you to speak a little bit about the night that we met. Um,
Mm.
because we met at a mutual friend's house
Yep.
who is a musician,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
not like the button pushing one, but like the, guitar strumming kind, right?
Which there are many types of musicians.
Yes. And he and a couple of other musicians were in there, right? And we were listening to your music and
Hmm.
and none of them were like, oh, this is like ugh. Like you're
I was
making a mockery
shocked.
of our profession. I remember you saying you were
Oh,
shocked
I'm gonna
and
get emotional.
so I just want to like get a sense of what you make of that. Like,
Yeah.
why was that shocking for you? Why do you think it is shocking for some people to get on board with that? And why do you think um, that there are like serious musicians out there that do understand what you're doing and can get on
Ugh.
board with it? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think the difference in perspective is on people's attitudes towards AI
Mm.
and creativity?
Yeah, I literally just teared up thinking about that night because it was a huge milestone for me. Like, oh, like,
I mean,
yeah.
we spent like hours just listening to your songs.
I mean, hopefully it wasn't too long. Like, because that's the thing. Like, I'm so humble about my music, but it came from a place of shame at first. Like I was around people who did not value AI like I did.
Yeah.
They did not understand it or try it. It's like riding a bike for the first time, you fall off a lot. So it's like if you don't have the intention behind it, you're not going to understand. And I had no language to describe what I was doing. So it was really isolating. Super isolating. So even though I was like doing all this love and learning and playing about myself, right? I was alone doing that. And so being around a group of musicians that saw value in my work, it was like that changed me. It did. It changed the directionality and the pace that I actually started making my music and how much more open I was. Like just having that evening and that reflection, right? That clarity of like, oh, there are people who can see the value in what I do. This now can be something bigger than just me, and I can share it, and I can feel safe and seen. Oh, don't get me
And,
started.
and for context, this was like we're at like song number 150 or something, right? So like this is still relatively early on.
Yes, yes. And so the work that I was actually particularly most proud of at the time is also something I'm reviving right now today, which is like I love this full circle moment we're having. Was my sonic thesis. Okay. And this was to talk about such deep concepts about cosmology.
Hmm.
And I remember being scared that it sounded computery, right? I was scared that there's going to be a tell, that the music isn't produced humanly enough, right?
Hmm.
Like, because I know. So it's like, I can't unknow what I know. It's like
Yes.
not a double blind placebo experience. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's like I am like going up to everybody like, can you tell? And if I don't tell them right away, it feels deceitful, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, you didn't tell me it was made with AI. And then suddenly they have a completely different take on it.
Yeah.
And I got coffee with someone and they didn't even want to have a conversation about AI with me. Like it goes either way. And I
Hmm.
feel like in the past year, so when I first started, like I said, nobody really was like people are rah-rahing on the internet about it's sucking our creativity, humans only, right? Like it was a whole thing. And I was like ashamed and I was like trying to insert my as much of myself into it as possible. That's why I gave it all my emotional data. I was like, let's teach it how to be a human then. At least it'll have some love, right? And I was like pouring my all. I was giving my voice to it. And I was like, I want it to feel as human as I can make it because these are the tools that I have, like with the confidence and the level of expertise that I have. Like, even though I'm a trained singer, like it was a confidence thing, right? And AI, partnering with AI, but watch out, like in doing that, I became more and more me because I can hear myself now. Like I said,
Hmm.
that discernment piece, it always spits out two songs. So at the end, I'm always making a choice. You know, even if AI makes all the prompts and whatever, like the human still has to choose
Yeah.
what gets released. I have made thousands of songs. You hear 700. There's 700 now, right? So that's discernment. That's curation. That's the humanness that I am bringing to it that I didn't even know I was good at until now. I was like, wait a minute, I'm kind of good at like discerning what's good music and what's bad music. And now I really appreciate the authentic produce music because I get to hear the crispness in the sound because AI music has a little bit of that artifactual noise and it doesn't sound too authentic. But when it comes to creating practice tracks for singers or creating workout tracks for me or something to reprogram my mind, this allows me to become the most waveform I can be. And that integration of technology without it being like vampiric, right? Like ChatGPT, Suno, they're not taking anything from me. Yeah, they're all mining our data all the time. But at least I'm using this like it's other people's raw materials that I'm using. We're sharing, we're resource sharing. So that's really how I see it. And I just see it as an extension of myself rather than something that's like a succubus and it's like sucking my soul and making me less human. Like there are ways like I wouldn't get it implanted in my brain, but it's as an external collaborator, as somebody that I share communication with, it's a great tool. And it's like and like I said in a video of mine, it's for a lot of people, their ticket out, you know? And that's not to be underestimated in this society that we live in. It's a powerful tool. I'm a huge fan of equity and resource sharing, obviously. And access is so limited to these high quality materials. And it's like, oh, we want people to make real, authentic music. And it's like, well, these people do not have the confidence that you do with your billions of dollars, nor the resources to create. So it's like, for me, I created the scaffolding to be the confident person that can walk into the room and ask for
Mhm.
the money, that can walk into the room and say, I have a voice that I want to record, right? That was the AI that helped me do that,
Yeah.
right? So there's so much more to the story here than people I think are willing to even hear. And so that's why I don't waste my breath anymore and how come I got so excited about this because the way that you ask these questions frames it so people can see the brilliance behind what I'm doing without just being like, oh, so it's AI, so it has no value and it's just a computer. Like our brains have been akin to computers in cognitive science forever, right? That is a limited metaphor. And I know that. And so I bring that wholeness into the work that I do. Got me a little fired up there.
No, I wish we could just go on and on and on.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but do have a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm going to turn it over to you and you can have the last words. But
Okay.
um, I know you've been doing the music stuff for a while, but I
Hmm.
know you make other content as well. You make video content.
Hmm.
Um, very nice, just riffs.
Yes. Stream of
Very,
consciousness. Yeah.
very fired up in some of them.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. A lot of some tears and others.
Um, so I wanted to ask you what you're working on now. Are you
Mm.
still working on the music? Are you still
Mhm.
working on the videos? Are you working on anything else? And are you kind of envisioning anything else in the future that you haven't started on yet?
Always, always evolving, always changing, always transmuting, always, 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 always. So, wow, great question. So I call my primary platform TikTok, right? So that's gonna be where I am posting authentic content on the daily, just random tidbits throughout my day. I do that because I think the more authentic, I often hesitate sometimes. I'm like, is this pollution? Like, is this too much of me on the internet? Like, do people really need this much of me? So I'm consciously always thinking about sustainability in the back of my mind. Um,
I think there's
but yeah,
probably worse people out there to be polluting the internet.
I
So
know, but I hate to get into a judgment. I do. I don't want to like, start being like, I'm better than the other person, like we all have value. It's all great. So, yeah, so that's like a diary like experience, kind of
Mhm.
just like an everyday. And I like that because I think storytelling is so important. So I have a lot of videos there. And then my long form videos are on YouTube and I do keep up with those, but they're less frequent. So if we think about frequency, I call myself like a frequency-based human being, right? Everything has a rhythm in my life. So TikTok is a daily thing, multiple times a day. YouTube is every couple weeks or every month. And it's usually when I'm going through big shifts. I like to share with the world what transformation really looks like. And I try to be as raw and authentic as possible, right? Those raw materials. I want other miners out there to be like, oh, look at this raw material that I can now apply to my life, right? It's exciting. Um, and there's that community and resource sharing ideal almost under everything that I do. And then my music, same thing, frequency. It's probably like between my YouTube and my TikTok frequency, my music. And it really depends on what I move through. Like I had a lot of huge shifts in the past year. So who's to say that the frequency won't change? But I do have music coming out soon. Like it comes out every week. It's like a drop, like, and so that's why I did reflect. I'm like, is this fast fashion, right? Is this like the fast fashion of music? And I'm asking myself these questions because I'm never afraid to pivot. I'm never afraid to try something new. I also
Mhm.
write, I do journal writing. I like my little workout routines, my dancing that I do. I have the capacity to express myself in a variety of ways. One of the things I'm most excited about working with now is I'm working with my magic coach. She does magical voice coaching, and she's a magician through and through. And I've been working with her on learning some of my songs. So producing is one thing, but like I said, wanting it to sound more and more like me so I can hear myself, because that's another element of me and the work that I do is hearing clearly, right? Being able to, like, I have, because of all my choir experience, I can really mimic any sound. And I know how the face is shaped, and I can really try on a lot of different sounds. And so I'd love, my goal is to like sing live and have a set. And so I'm working on creating songs that feel authentic to me. So even I'm doing a lot of revivals, right? So it's like songs that I know, but I want to evolve into the version I am now so I could potentially sing them live and then let the cycle kind of continue of transformation. And every time you do something new and you stretch yourself, you get that feedback, that information that allows you to continue to grow in the direction of the sun, right? Like that. I'm a Leo, so it's genuinely how I rule my life with the sun, and like the seasons and everything is cyclical. And I allow that to be the case. And I think that's much like, again, the flourishing garden metaphor, even in different seasons, you have different perennials and annuals, and you have critters. There's so many dimensions, right, to what flourishing can mean. And I'm just so grateful that I've finally gotten to this place, right? Because despite, like you said at the beginning, and like I said, it didn't come from a place of joy. Like I didn't, sitting here today, I'm not like, wow, I was just in such a state of joy the whole time, and I'm so grateful to like my life. Or, like it's not like that. It's like I was going through a lot of stuff and I was feeling really horrible. And I was like, how can I change this for myself? And it just so happens that we're landing on these pillars that I've created, right? Like resonance, community, connection, sustainability, all of those things, like regardless of the work that I do or, what I create, that never changes and the essence of who I am never changes. So there will always be something by me out there doing so, floating somewhere in the ether. And I hope that there's more coherence around my frequency in coming days, months, years, in outside of myself, so I can commune more. Because that's one of the goals that I want to have is like actually seeing people and coming out of hermit. That's one thing that AI music will do for you. If you play pop star too much, you can't really sing live on stage somewhere else.
Yeah, it makes me super happy to hear that you're working towards that because I do
Yeah.
remember a time when you were really like trepidatious at best, right?
Yeah.
About doing any of this live.
Well,
Like,
that's why I called in the magician, man, because I was like, let's make this fun. And like that's the thing. I want to make everything fun. And I have stage fright. Like I'm an amazing singer. I've gotten lauded for my singing. And yet I turn into a small little mouse when I have to sing in front of you. It's like nobody can even hear my best voice because I can't use it because I'm so scared. So using this method that I've like honed in on and created for myself has allowed me to like free myself. I say free myself from authoritarianism. Like my voice is being freed, right? I can speak my truth. That's the whole closing of the loop. We're not just hearing what the sounds like the discernment and the choice, but we're also embodying and expressing and then hearing ourselves. And when you have that like coherence within yourself, it vibrates clearer out into the universe. And then it brings you back more of you. And when you love, learn, and play, you're going to get more love, learn, and play. And that is like, that's how the fractal unfolds, like it's like the snowball effect. If you keep creating, you'll get more and more. So it's like refining, refining.
awesome. So gonna bring this to a close soon,
Oh,
unfortunately,
I
because this has been such an
know.
amazing
We
conversation.
could talk for hours and hours. Fireside chat energy.
So the last thing I wanted to, well, in turning the floor over to you,
Mm,
one, you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube.
yeah.
Are there other platforms you'd like people to know about? And how can what do they need to physically type into their magic computer
Yeah,
box?
so I can actually outline it for you. So, like I said, TikTok is going to be small riffs, dancing, occasional singing. Lana Jade, all lowercase, one word. Okay. It's the same for every platform. And then YouTube is going to be the long form content. Instagram is my static content. So that's my appearance mostly over time and still images primarily. And then I also share some of my music and what I'm working on, my stories and such. Um, and then I'm trying to think, I have more. My music is everywhere, Lana Jade, so you can search it on any platform. So it's on YouTube as well. And I'm also hoping to create some music videos in the future. So definitely check those out if they come out ever. I've been experimenting with how this can evolve, and I want to involve more humans in it too. So if people feel like passionate about this and they hear this and they're like, "Oh my God, wait, this sounds fun." Either they want to learn more about it or they want to create their own song. I can do all of those things for people. Like I have services that allow you to create your own song and do this process for yourself. Tried and true. I mean, 700 songs later, I know it works.
Yeah.
And I would really love to start working with humans and like applying the method to the world so that way people can
Yeah.
really benefit from it
Yeah,
and
I mean,
collaborate as well.
it sounds like art therapy, right? Like
Yes,
a form of art therapy that
absolutely.
probably doesn't exist in a widespread form.
No.
You could be a pioneer.
Yeah, it's very bespoke. Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much for your time. I just wanted to give you a few minutes at the end here. Anything else you want people to know about you, about your music, your other work, or just any last thoughts you had about any of the stuff we talked about today?
Wow. I Yeah, I do. I have some things. I would say primarily I just feel so grateful because like every time I like say the word grateful, I feel like I'm accepting an award from the universe, right? Like for being aligned. Because I'm so grateful for our friendship that has blossomed, dare I say, from this like random encounter, right? The universe really said, "Ba-doo," like it was so random.
Blossomed remotely, by the way. We've only met in person once.
Yeah, literally, we have maintained connection like in resonance, right, in these philosophies. And it's so cool to have somebody who is based in a very academic, intellectual sphere to be able to connect with and create with in a way that like I don't see reflected all the time, you know, and I feel like connections that clearly reflect you are so important. So, thank you to you. And also, I'm excited to learn more about Love, Learn, Play now because I feel like these again are like and we have this conversation because of this. These are natural ways that I live my life. And I think it is so important for people to have something that they can, like for me, it was Reiki that really helped me like structure some
Mm.
of the healing energy, for example, that I needed. But for others who are looking for guidance and knowing like they are not alone, they are not crazy. Like the system, the structures, the societies, they are created so that way people feel this way. And that's how people make money. So it is very disruptive, this work, and it is not for the faint of heart. And it's also like what's coming. It's inevitable. This shift is inevitable. Loving, learning, and playing more is inevitable because, like, that's what we are coming into. Like, it's the dark always has to oscillate with the light, right? And one of my biggest inspirations was reality transurfing. That book, it's like, I don't know the author's name, but it was an audio book, and I remember listening to it and just being like, everything's a pendulum, everything's an oscillation, nothing is still, right? So just having that movement in mind and knowing that like when you align yourself with the truth of who you are, like only more of good things can come your way because who we are is love, who we are is light, right? And we often forget that because of all these limiting programs. And I just hope more and more that people come into that truth of their power because they deserve it. Everybody does, you know?
Well, because you asked, okay? So,
I did.
Love, Learn, Play is the book, right?
Woo!
And UEF.org, three letters, UEF. That's the website. So if you do want to learn more, that's the
Check it
one.
out. Check it out. I love the color scheme as well. I'm in my orange and yellow red era too.
People do judge books by their cover.
They do. And
So,
honestly, if you've ever been in a Barnes and Noble, man, that's what happens.
okay, Lana, this has been really fun, insightful, um, and I really appreciate your time and um, looking forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to the next one. Bye, everyone. Yeah, I got in.